Hi everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Rebel Heart's Modern Love. I'm Clenda, I'm your host, and for all you first-time listeners, this podcast is part of my Substack, which is also called Rebel Heart's Modern Love. And what is Substack? You can find the link to the sign up in the show notes. So basically, Substack is a platform for all creatives to write, to do podcasting, to do video content. And I have my own site, my own blog page basically there. And when you subscribe for free via email, you will get essay style blog posts, this podcast episode, and video content. If I ever feel like creating video content for you, you will get it each Sunday. I will send a new piece into your inbox, or you can just continue to listen to this podcast wherever you listen to it from. So yeah, anyway, the link to the Substack is in the show notes. And we're talking about modern love, soul-aligned relationships, empowered dating. I share a lot of my own experiences. So to dive right in, today I want to talk to you a little bit about, non-monogamy, about my own thoughts on non-monogamy based on my own experiences, because I love the dating experience. As you know, like in case you read the last Substack. So short recap, last Sunday, like in my past Substack posts, like the essays, I talked about that I'm now officially dating someone and emotions that come up, triggered emotions that come up. And also, like as of last week, I'm also dating someone else. And I wrote in my last piece about all the conditioned emotions that came up, because I believe that there are different kinds of emotions that we human beings have. And many of these feelings are conditioned by society and what we've just grown up with as quote unquote normal. There are also triggered emotions, which means like you've experienced something in your past, and a situation in the now triggers this wounded part of you, and emotions come up because of that wound. That's what I call triggered emotions. And then once we've processed all of that, we can feel like our pure emotions, like what we really feel without any wounding, without any conditioning. So, and in my past post, I talked about all of the conditioned emotions that came up when I started dating another guy. Like, I'm officially dating this one guy. He's amazing, an amazing person. And I was also curious because I met this other person, this other guy, and we actually have so much in common. So I was just curious. But most of all, I was curious about how I would feel dating two guys at the same time, and not just like for sex, or not just like for ego fucking reasons, but like legitimately liking this one person, also being intrigued by this other person, and just seeing what comes up for me. And a lot of shit came up, like a lot of conditioned emotions, like a bad conscience, like, am I not grateful? Like, is this one guy, even though he's like such a cool person, is he not enough somehow? Whatever came up, You can read it in this last Substack. I think I'm just gonna put it in the show notes as well, because it sets like a context to the whole thing, because it's like I'm adding on it. But basically, what I came to realize in this past post was each connection is unique. Each connection we have to people, even friends. I mean, you can just see like each connection to each of your friends is different. It's unique. So why would it be any different when it comes to romantic/sexual partners? Each connection, each romantic connection is unique. But somehow, when it comes to monogamy and this construct, it feels like we only have to have one person, and if we don't feel like if we feel like branching out, everyone's like, the alarm bells ring. Is this person not enough for you? But thing is, this one person is one person and it's not another person. This is why we're all unique. We're all individuals and we all create individual connections with other people. So each connection we have, no matter the nature of this connection, each connection is unique and it cannot be compared. So I cannot compare the one guy and how I feel with him. I cannot compare him to the other guy because they are both individuals and I'm an individual. So I create this new individual connection with the one guy and I create this new individual connection to the other guy. And both unique individual connections, it's like they have their own soul. Each connection feels like it has its own soul. And this is what, and unique souls. And they can't be compared. It's just not, I mean, I know that we as human beings, we like to compare each other and compare ourselves to other people. But it's actually, like when we think about it, it's not even possible. So these were the thoughts that I was like jumbling in my head. And most of all, in my emotional body for the past 2 weeks. And that's basically what my past post on Substack is about, with this core revelation that each connection is unique and cannot be compared. So after I had the date with the other guy, I don't want to call him the other guy, but I haven't actually thought about synonyms for the two guys that I'm dating. So I'm just gonna go with the one and the other guy. So and when after this date and the next morning when I woke up, and because I navigated every emotion, like I'm doing a lot of somatic work, like a lot of emotional processing, like moving the emotions through my body to process them. And I really came to the core of my emotions, like my pure emotions. And when I woke up the next day, I felt so abundant. I felt a level of abundance I have never felt before. Like it was as if I've opened up a new compartment of this feeling that we call abundance. Like it was a new area has been opened up that I've never experienced before, because like my past relationships, when I say relationships, they were all monogamous relationships because I never questioned it. Because like, I mean, when we talk to people and they say, oh, I'm in a relationship, it's usually like, it's without having to discuss it, we all assume that it's a monogamous long-term relationship. I started to ask, oh, what kind of relationship do you have? What kind of connection do you have? And everyone I've ever asked, they answered, oh, monogamy, of course. Like when I don't know what you mean. Like, is it monogamous? Is it open? Is it poly? Is it something else? You know, explain it to me. Like, of course, monogamy. There's like, because it's the default thing we go to and we connect to this term being in a relationship. And I wasn't any different. So because this is exactly why after my past relationship, which was a monogamous relationship, but during which I realized that this isn't working for me, like not in this conventional sense. And so I started to explore what might feel more aligned for me, what might feel more soul aligned for me. And I came up with this idea that to have like a home-based partner, like a number one go-to partner, but also like, because for me, it always felt normal, like in the best way, natural, that we meet other people and we have, like I said, unique connections to each person we meet. Some are deeper, some are more shallow, you know? But we all meet new people. Like even when we're in a committed relationship and it's amazing and the person, like we get along, we're so close, you meet another person and you have this unique connection, like with everyone else, and you meet this other person and there's something too. And emotions always like demand an action. Like when you're scared and your body goes into flight mode, like you want to run away, your body needs to run, or it needs to actually do the action of running. Even if you just pretend like sitting on a chair, like running on the floor, if your body feels something, it demands an action. So when we have like feelings for another person, your body also like it demands like this emotion wants to be heard, it wants to be seen, and it wants to be explored. It demands an action. So it's just normal and natural, like normal in the best way. It's natural. That's actually the better word. It's natural to see where what this emotion wants to tell me, you know? So I want to have, in my thing, I have this home-based person with a cosmic connection, as I call it, because I am, after all, aromantic. But also, if I meet someone else and I have strong, intense emotions, and I don't mean ego emotions, ego motivated, like, there's something going on, there's something wrong with my partnership, and then as a reaction, go to someone else. That is not cool. Just like every other ego reaction is not cool. But I mean like legit emotions for another person. And then just like having this opening in this home-based relationship, maybe I'm just gonna call it, like the title is pending always, but this home-based connection. And then if you meet someone else, having this opening to explore these emotions because they want to be explored, because they want to tell us something. And that was all like a construct in my head, like something that from my head into my feelings felt aligned. Felt more aligned for me. So now I'm actually in the experience of it, because it's one thing to think that it's okay for you to live your life that way, and it's another to actually experience it. So here I am in the middle of this experience of how I feel about non-monogamy. And I mean, there are a lot of people who date monogamously, or like it basically is the same. So because the same feelings came up. So like I said, a lot of conditioned feelings came up when I dated the other guy, but I processed them, came into my, like what I really felt. And what I really felt, like I said, when I woke up the next day, it was abundance. Like, oh my fucking God, I'm so grateful to have like these two amazing people in my life, these two amazing men in my life, not boys, like in the past, I was dating boys, but these are men who are so in their own power and like also self-aware and like, but also giving like are just decent human beings basically. But like we can talk, communicate so well, we have a lot in common, or we don't, but we accept each other. There's a lot of respect, there's a lot of safety, which is integrated masculine energy. And I'm so grateful that I get to experience this for once, because I have not experienced this in the past with past relationships. But these two guys, they're so modern, they're so conscious, they're so, self-aware, in their power, creative, unconventional, you know, I just feel so good with them. And I'm so grateful that I got to meet these two amazing people that cannot be compared. But I feel so grateful for this one person. I feel so grateful for this other person. and the individual connection we have, and these individual, like these unique things I feel, how I feel with the one person, how I feel with the other person. And it can both equally be there. Like this is why I felt so abundant, because it wasn't one or the other, or one takes away from the other. One has to lessen the other, or one has to be better than the other. But they're both equal. They're both unique. They're both separate from each other. But I'm in the middle, the connecting point, And it's not two people have to fit into one space, but two people can fit just in their all of their bigness, you know what I mean? Because there is not just one place and two people have to cram into it, but they can both equally be there in my life. And this is why it felt so abundant, because feelings, love, whatever you want to call it, there is no limit to that. But in monogamy, I feel like it's always like there was this one space and only one person fits in there, and only person has to fit in there. And if there are feelings for someone else, then they're too much, then they're not right, then they're not welcome, because there's no space anymore. But they're still there. And this is what makes us feel so imprisoned in this monogamy construct, because you have emotions for more than just one person, because it's natural. But it's but you're so imprisoned in this one space, one person thing, that any excess emotions or any other emotions for someone else, it feels like I'm bursting. But when we open ourselves up like that, I'm just really in real time experiencing it, it feels so abundant. It feels like there's space for all the emotions. There's space for more than one person, because we don't have just one friend. We don't it's like saying, I don't know. It's like saying a person gets a child, and they want to have another child, and you say oh, why isn't the one child not enough for you? Isn't the one child, don't you love it well enough that you have to make another child? It's basically the same, but that's just I'm not gonna branch into childless topics, but basically it's the same. But somehow it's normal to have more children, even though I could also wonder, is one child not enough? But it's not normal to have more than one sexual romantic partner. Then all of a sudden the question is, is one person not enough? But it's just the confines the problems we make ourselves, the problems we create for ourselves, even though it's absolutely not necessary. But yeah, these were thoughts that came up. And also, I was under the shower, being so swimming in this feeling of abundance. And because it's I'm recording this in December, Northern Hemisphere, it's cold. It's I'm not celebrating Christmas, I'm celebrating the winter solstice, but winter atmosphere, cinnamon. I'm a sucker for cinnamon. I'm a sucker for marzipan. And all of a sudden, I had this amazing, I love sweets and treats and all these things. And I was high on abundance and sugar probably, but I being under the shower, under the water running. I had this metaphor, and I'm just gonna share it with you. So, I love a very good cinnamon bun. I also love a very good marzipan croissant. I love them both equally. Doesn't depend on the mood I'm in. Like, oh, sometimes I love this more. Sometimes I'm more in the mood for this. No. You can wake me up in the middle of the night and I will like both equally. If people ask me which one do you prefer, I couldn't say it. If people made me choose under the threat of my life, I could not choose it. I would eat both anyway, and then be dying gladly, you know? What I mean to say, I cannot compare these two things. Because first, I love them both equally. And second, marzipan is not cinnamon. A marzipan croissant is not a cinnamon bun. They cannot be compared because they are two different things. They taste differently. Pun intended. Okay. Lord. They taste differently. They have, they may have like similar ingredients, like some things may be similar, but in a different like variety or capacity, whatever, like the ingredients and so on. But like the main parts, they're just different. They're both delicious. They're both sweet. They're both hot if they come fresh out of the oven. But they're different. I also like them both equally. So, if maybe the marzipan croissant isn't available, it cannot be substituted by the cinnamon bun. Because the cinnamon bun is not the marzipan and it cannot be substituted. The one thing can never be a consolidation prize if the other one isn't there. Because they're different things. Because if like the marzipan croissant is on vacation, for example, for a week, the cinnamon bun is there. Yes, I might have more time capacity to eat more of the cinnamon bun. I might have more space in my belly to eat more of the cinnamon bun. But it will also mean always that I'm literally not eating the marzipan. So I'm always gonna miss the marzipan if it's not there, even though there's the cinnamon bun. I love eating the cinnamon bun, even like maybe a little more than usual. Like I love it, and this is the complete thing. I love eating the cinnamon bun. But fact is, I am not eating the marzipan croissant because it's not there. So I will miss it, even though there's the cinnamon bun. Because they're separate things. They're separate people. They cannot be compared. It's not like, oh, the marzipan croissant is on vacation. Okay, doesn't matter because I still have cinnamon bun here. And I'm forgetting about the marzipan. Because I like them both. I like both cinnamon and marzipan. Cannot be compared. Like them both equally. So if the one isn't there, the other one is there. It's like two separate things. So yeah, there's marzipan there. Also, there's not cinnamon. Oh, that's sad. Because I like cinnamon. I like marzipan. And also, oh yeah, I like cinnamon. Oh yeah, this is there. You know what? You know what I'm getting at? So, I could dive into that metaphor. Like, I'm super hungry right now. But I mean, you get the point, you know? Like, it's not about, oh, I have this one guy dating, and if he's like not available, okay, then I just turn to the other, because it's not that I cannot be on my own and I just need someone like to like give me company. That's not the case. I like to spend time with both of them. I like to spend time with several friends. It's not that I'm meeting this one friend of mine, but then this friend cancels or whatever, and I'm saying, okay, now space opens up and I'm now meeting another friend. Just because, like, okay, it just happened to be that way, but it doesn't change the fact that the first friend that canceled on me, I'm not seeing anymore. because I would have loved to see that one friend. Also, it's so cool that I now get to see the other friend. You know what I mean? And this is how I feel about like dating more than one person. It's always the absolute appreciation of each person individually. And they cannot be compared because they're unique treats. They also cannot like one isn't the substitute for the other. One isn't the consolidation prize for the other. It's a mere thing. If one isn't available, okay, maybe I have just space for like, it's just an organization thing. Like you're like you organize your dates with your friends. But not comparing to people with each other, which are what is this word? Like I'm having so much trouble expressing this word. They cannot be compared because they're unique people. They're individuals. And each connection is individual. So they cannot be compared. So why do we? And yeah, I mean, maybe if even one day this super special cake comes along. This special cake that, oh my God, takes all of your time and energy, and you're super focused on this one cake because you have a special cosmic connection to this cake and it feels like your home base cake. It doesn't change the fact that there's still marzipan there and there's still cinnamon there, and they're both not the cake because it's, I don't know, a nougat cake, nougat caramel cake, whatever, which I also like equally to the others. Christmas time is a hard time for me, not like to eat so much that I won't fit into any of my clothes. So, you know, nougat caramel cake is still not the same as marzipan and cinnamon. And even though I might one day have this cake in front of my face and am like, okay, this is like what I like feel like eating now all the time. Still, there will be moments when I feel like, oh my God, marzipan, I have missed you. Cinnamon bun, I have missed you. Because caramel nougat cake just isn't cinnamon, just isn't marzipan. And that is okay. Because one thing doesn't have to be the other. This is why there's such a variety, so much individuality out there. Because we don't have to be everything. We have to be ourselves. And we don't have to be everything for someone else. Because there are other people. And the collection is what makes all of it. And this is what I basically mean with my thoughts on non-monogamy, because one person doesn't have, like, doesn't have to be the pressure on one person to be everything for someone else. And yeah, sure, it's like I said, I like this idea of having like a number one go-to person. But the thing is, like my marzipan croissant, I can, like, if I have a problem or an issue or something is bothering me, I can go to him, even though he's not my caramel cake. But I can go to him with, even if I'm sad, even if I'm having struggles, I can go to him because this is the kind of connection we have. If I want to geek out on crystals and past life theories, whatever, I can go to the cinnamon bun. And it feels amazing to have this kind of absolute deep, down the rabbit hole spirituality connection to this other person. And that is the abundance of it all. But one doesn't have to be the other. Marzipan doesn't have to be cinnamon, because there is marzipan and cinnamon. One doesn't have to be both, because that's so much pressure. Why would we be trying to be everything for another person when there are other people? there, you know? And yeah, because what I want to say, I'm wrapping this up here because I'm really getting hungry, like I said. But this is what I mean. Like, I'm in the middle of this experiment, of this, like it was, and this is what makes it so interesting and so adventurous and so alive, what makes it feel so alive for me right now, because it was a concept in my head, and now I get to explore it. Like, my body gets to explore it, my emotions get to explore it. What comes up? What do I actually feel? And I know that there's a huge potential for jealous feelings coming up, for fear of loss. But I also believe that these two things, fear of losing someone and jealousy, it's all heightened, that it's so much stronger, that these feelings, these emotions have such a tighter grip on ourselves because of this construct that is monogamy, that has been so deeply indoctrinated into our society. And moving through these, like literally moving our body through these feelings and navigating them and really releasing them from our cell memory, that is what I want to explore. That is what I want to move through and experience for myself. So I actually get to say, okay, what I had like as a theory more or less in my head about how I want to do relationships, I actually now get to experience and say for sure that this is something that is soul aligned for me. So this is basically what I want to leave you with, that we have a lot of ideas about how we have to do relationships. Then maybe we loosen this grip on what we know a little bit and we explore a little more, and then we realized, oh, maybe something else is more soul aligned for me. And then the next step is to actually try it and see what comes up and navigate through it, and then come out the other side really, really, really knowing what is your thing. And that is an amazing thing, because you get to know yourself so much better because of this process. And coming out the other side, you will be so much more anchored in who you are and who you are and what you know to be true for yourself. You're gonna be so much more in your soul alignment, and that's basically the most important relationship you have, the relationship to yourself. And knowing who you are and what is soul aligned for you, and being true to yourself, like without all the conditioned things that cling to us, that cling to us over the course, or that we take on over the course of our lives, like really coming back to ourselves. That just feels damn good. That just feels so good. Knowing who you are, feeling who you are, and standing up for what is soul aligned for you, and living it, and living by this truth, by your own truth. That is, like, sometimes I think, why would we want to live any other way? Because it's not an easy journey, I know. But yeah, I'm in the middle of it, and I'm already loving it. So my loves, I'm gonna leave you with that. I hope you had a good time. Let me know what you think, and most important, what you feel about this episode. And then see you next Sunday, my loves. Mwah.